Hello everyone, what's up? It's your protagonist here, Diamond Rose, and I welcome you to come and venture with me on this beautiful journey we're about to take. तो अभी आज हम ये गेम खेलने वाले हैं जिसमें हम एक विज़र्ड का कैरेक्टर प्ले करने वाले हैं. इट्स मच मोर लाइक ऑफ अ चॉइस गेम, बट मतलब मिडिवल टाइम्स में, ठीक है, लाइक नाइट्स, आर्मर, विचेस, गॉब्लिन्स and castles, if you love all that. So I welcome you to come on this beautiful adventurous journey with me, and I hope you love every moment of it because I know we'll enjoy it, and together it will be more fun for you people as well as me. तो स्टार्ट करते हैं. अभी ये जो हम नॉवल पढ़ने वाले हैं उसका नाम है विज़र्ड चॉइस, एंड ये उसका फर्स्ट पेज है. तो फ़ोटो आई गेस दिख के होगी, ठीक है. एंड ऊपर तुमको दे रहा है लाइक वी हैव लाइफ, माना, गोल्ड एंड मोराल. लाइफ इज़ की ऑब्वियसली कि लाइफ ख़त्म हुई तो मैं मर जाऊँगा, सिंपल दैट हाउ इट वर्क्स. माना इज़ माई मैजिकल पावर, कि मतलब जितना मेरे पास माना होगा मैं उस हिसाब से स्पेल्स वगैरह कर पाऊँगा यूज़. आई विल बी एबल टू कास्ट स्पेल्स अकॉर्डिंगली. एंड देन गोल्ड, इट जस्ट गिव्स मी अ गुड रैंकिंग इन द एंड ऑफ द नॉवल. एंड क्या कहते हैं, बचा मोराल. मोराल इज़ अभी तो मोराल काम आई डोंट थिंक कि आएगा, बट मे बी फ्यूचर नॉवेल्स में आएगा, क्योंकि इस विज़र्ड चॉइस के टोटल, इफ़ आई एम नॉट मिस्टेकन, क्या कहते हैं, 6 पार्ट्स हैं, 6 बुक्स हैं. दिस इज़ द फर्स्ट बुक. तो लेट्स गेट इनटू इट, शैल वी. यू, दैट इज़ मी. यू आर ए यंग विज़र्ड seeking treasure and glory. You are walking alone a path in the forest. One day's journey from रिंग सिटी. तो रिंग सिटी बेसिकली जो है एरिया, वो बेसिकली आप एक इस नावल का या इस ऐप में जितनी नावल्स हैं उन सभी नावल्स का एक बेसिकली एरिया या एक पर्टिकुलर उस एरिया के अराउंड ही सारी स्टोरीज बिल्डअप हैं. तो दैट एरिया इज़ कॉल्ड रिंग सिटी. तो एंड इट इज़ ऑल्सो माई बिलीव्ड होम, जैसा लिखा ही हुआ है. तो यू आर वॉकिंग अलॉन्ग अ पाथ इन द फॉरेस्ट, वन डेज जर्नी फ्रॉम रिंग सिटी, your beloved home. Night has just fallen and you're thinking about how it might be a good idea to find a campsite. After all, you're in goblin territory and it is dangerous to travel in the dark. Suddenly, you smell something awful. Reginald, are you responsible for this outrageous smell? You ask the warriors striding ahead of you. So, बेसिकली हम विज़र्ड हैं एंड हमारा दोस्त रेजिनल्ड वो सामने एक नाइट है. एंड एकदम से जब हम जा रहे थे जंगलों में से, हमें एक बड़ी गंदी बदबू आती है. एंड वी थिंक कि रेजिनल्ड ने ही इज़ पास्ड आउट गैस, ठीक है. तो वी आर आस्किंग कि भाई ये तेरा काम है क्या जो इतनी गंदी स्मेल आ रही है. प्रे नो, आई एम ऑलवेज डाउनविंड फ्रॉम माई कंपेनियंस व्हेन आई स्क्वीज द बेलोव्स. रेजिनल्ड आंसर्स. तो रेजिनल्ड कहते हैं कि नहीं, जब भी मैं चल रहा होता, जब मैं ऐसा कोई काम करता हूँ, आई मेक श्योर कि मैं हमेशा डाउनविंड चल रहा हूँ. डाउनविंड क्या होता है बेसिकली गाइस, जब ना प्रेडेटर्स वगैरह जो होते हैं, व्हेन दे अटैक ना, तो दे स्टे डाउनविंड. डाउनविंड मतलब सामने से हवा आ रही है और आपके पीछे कोई नहीं है, ताकि आपकी स्मेल किसी को जा ही ना पाए. आगे से किसी की स्मेल आपको आ सकती है पर आपकी स्मेल किसी को नहीं जाएगी. तो सबसे पीछे खड़े होने का मतलब होता है डाउनविंड रहना, कि हवा सामने से आपके फेस को लग रही है, आपको लग के पीछे जा रही है. दैट्स व्हाट यूजुअली डाउनविंड मीन्स, ठीक है. तो कहता है, तो अभी लेट्स गेट ऑन विद इट. यू रियलाइज दैट यू हैव नॉट एनकाउंटर्ड दिस स्टेंच बिफोर एंड इट इज़ क्लोज एंड perhaps it's your imagination, but is that muffled breathing you just hear. What do you do? तो अभी तक क्या सिचुएशन है कि ना, अभी मैं और रेजिनल्ड हम जा रहे हैं जंगलों में से जो कि गॉब्लिन टेरिटरी में है. एंड हमें एकदम से बुरी एक ऑफुल बदबू आती है. एंड मैं रेजिनल्ड से पूछता हूँ कि भाई तूने तो नहीं पाद दिया. रेजिनल्ड इज़ लाइक कि नहीं. तो व्हाट डज़ दिस मीन? दिस मीन्स कि गॉब्लिन्स आसपास हैं, है ना. एंड तभी हमें एकदम से मतलब मफल्ड ब्रीदिंग, मतलब हमें हल्की हल्की सांस लेने की आवाज़ आती है. बहुत पास से सांस लेने की आवाज़ आ रही है. 4 ऑप्शन हमारे पास. क्या कर सकते हैं? शाउट अ वार्निंग टू रेजिनल्ड, डाइव फ्लैट ऑन योर फेस, हाइड, या स्टॉप एंड लिसन. ऑल्दो आई फील कि स्टॉप एंड लिसन तो बहुत ही बेकार चीज़ हो जाएगी. लाइक तुम्हें पता है गॉब्लिन्स तुम्हारे पीछे हैं, और उस टाइम अगर तुम रुक के सुनने लग गए ना तो तुम्हारी वाट लग जाएगी. छुपना भी आई डोंट थिंक इज़ गुड, बिकॉज तुम अंधेरी रात में जंगल में कहाँ छुपोगे. डाइव फ्लैट ऑन योर फेस इज़ अ बिट आइड से क्या कहते हैं उस चीज़ को यार, सेल्फिश हो जाएगा. बिकॉज रेजिनल्ड भी है ना मेरे साथ, तो अगर मैं अकेला झुक के मतलब बच जाऊँ गॉब्लिन से, वो बेचारा मरेगा. तो आई shout a warning to him, and because he's a knight, probably he'll be able to handle the situation. It's an ambush, you shout. Startled, Reginald springs off the ground like a jackrabbit, his chained armor jingling. Just then, out of the bush rush several snarling goblins, their eyes glowing green in the murky darkness. They charge. The leader of the charge is armed with a long dagger. The other carries spears. Although समझ नहीं आया इनको. देखो, इनका जो लीडर है गॉब्लिन्स का, उसके पास एक उसके पास लंबा डैगर है, एक चाकू है लंबा सा. और जो छोटे गॉब्लिन्स हैं, लाइक लोअर लेवल गॉब्लिन्स हैं, उनके पास भाले हैं. वाई इज़ दैट? लाइक उल्टा नहीं होना चाहिए. भाला इज़ लाइक अ बेटर वेपन नो, कि तुम दूर से मार पाओगे. तो लीडर के पास भाला होना चाहिए था ना. एंड चाकू इज़ अ बिट लाइक सस्ता वेपन. Like maybe, but maybe that's how goblin hierarchy works, that how they use weapons and all. So it's their wish. Continue. Mana decrease and morale increases. Morale I guess इसलिए बढ़ा because मैंने selfish नहीं सोचा. I tried to help Reginald as well, कि उसको warn कर देते कि भाई आप सामने खतरा है. And क्या कहते हैं, mana decrease maybe because we use a spell, right, with an arcane word and flourishing of and flourish of one hand, you fire a bolt of flame into the leader of the charge. Okay, तो जो नीचे आग का गोला दिख रहा है, कि this is our fire bolt, जो कि मैंने उसको मारी है. ठीक है. Your bolt strikes the goblin, engulfing it in flames. It drops on the ground, thrashing. Reginald hacks down another with his sword. Remaining three run away, whooping and yapping. The cries are joined by others from the dark forest all around you. Many call from far too many goblins to fight toe to toe. It's a hunting party, probably. It's a hunting party, probably tracking wild game. We humans are a delicacy, much better than mutton, Reginald says. So okay, so maybe these goblins, they eat us. And he said ना कि we are much better than muttons, we are delicacy. तो गद्दे goblin उनको खा जाएंगे क्या? Anyway, you regard the two dead goblins on the ground. Dead goblins are worth 10 gold pieces per head in the city. Luckily, you don't need to carry their heads around. The city authorities will accept their left ears. तो अब option क्या है? Cut off the ears or run. देखो, जो हम 5 गॉब्लिन्स ने हम पे अटैक किया. एक को मैंने मारा. आग जो उनका लीडर था उसको फायर बोल्ट मैंने मारा, तो ही इज डेड. दूसरे को रेजिनल्ड ने मारा है विद हिज स्वॉर्ड. बचे 3, वो 3 भाग गए हैं. तो कि ऑब्वियस सी बात है कि वो जो 3 बचे हुए हैं वो रीइंफोर्समेंट लेके आएंगे, है ना. तो वी कुड आइदर रन अवे और वी कुड कट ऑफ द ईयर्स. लाइक ऑफ कोर्स कटिंग ऑफ द ईयर्स विल टेक टाइम, विच विल इंक्रीज द रिस्क, बट आई एम अ ग्रीडी होल्डर हेयर, तो आई विल बी कटिंग ऑफ द ईयर्स. Let's go. Gold increased by 10. Get the ears, you exclaim as you pull out your razor sharp dagger from your belt. So I had a dagger, and I still, of course I'm a wizard, so I'll kill the freaking goblin with a firebolt. Otherwise I could have killed him with a dagger as well. कोई बात नहीं. For a second, your sometimes slow-witted warrior sidekick doesn't understand. But as you start swaying away at the first ear, he gets the idea and fishes out his own dagger. Soon, you have a bloody goblin ear stuffed in your pocket. And Reginald has one of his own. Nasty. Very. However, 10 gold pieces are nearly 6 months of wage to a common laborer. So you're willing to take the hit. Dude, that's nice. What now? Reginald asks. Certainly, there are excellent places to hide in the forest. If you can just make it until morning. True. However, the goblins may have dogs, and their own sense of smell is keen, you say. We might climb a tree then. They would at least be defensible. रीजनल सजेस्ट, देखो अभी गाइस मैं जो अलग आवाज़ ट्राई कर रहा हूँ, आई एम लाइक ट्राइंग आउट डिफरेंट वॉइसेस, लाइक अगर तुम्हें कोई अच्छी लगती है मेरे को बताना कि लाइक विच वन सूट्स बेटर फॉर द कैरेक्टर, ठीक है। तो दैट्स रीजनल सजेस्ट कि हमें पेड़ पे चढ़ जाना चाहिए, बिकॉज एज वी आर क्लाइंबिंग ऑन अ ट्री वी कैन रियली यूज इट एज अ डिफेंस एज वेल. You wish to be you wish to be treated like a fox with goblin barking underneath? Of course not, bro. If you wish a potion that is both defensible and allows some freedom of movement, we should hasten to the castle Inverness. Castle Inverness, I guess castle का नाम होगा. It is near, and we could fortify ourselves behind those walls, Reginald says. You frown. It's a fortress, yes, but inhabited by what? God knows what manner of creatures might have taken up residence in that ruin over the years. So options. Hide in the forest, which is not very viable according to me, because there's a bunch of goblins who are will be willing to kill us because we just killed their leader. And otherwise also they'll just try to kill us. Then garrison in the ruins. I'd say that's the better option, like we can hide into the castle because that will really help us, because climbing on a tree, again, it's not an option, like it's not. What if the goblins start climbing on a tree? How are we going to defend ourselves then? So let's run to them. Let's take refuge behind the stone walls of castle Inverness, you say. Goblin hunting calls echo from all around the forest as the two of you dash up the path hundreds of meters or so. Oh, we're running. Where you find a fork in the road. The path to right appears to be seldom used since it's nearly overgrown. The path to the left is clear. And you think you see firelight down the way. Could this fire belong to the goblins? Or if you're lucky, it is a campfire of another friendly adventuring party. What do you do? Okay, so this is the situation. On one side there's light and on the other there's not. So where there is light there's also a risk of like goblins, you know, like chances हैं कि जहाँ पे आग है वहाँ पे goblins हो सकते हैं, तो वो goblin campfire ही हो सकती है. तो in this situation I will not investigate the fire because goblins आसपास हैं. and अगर let's just say कि अगर वो adventurous हैं, if that fire is of other adventurers, still there's a chance na ki the goblins will outnumber us, so we might just die. So it's best to run for the castle in this situation. So let's see how that goes. Enough foolishness. To castle Inverness and her blessed walls, you proclaim. Reginald raises his fist. Yes, may the puny bodies break against our stone defenses. After a minute of stumbling down, what is best described as a game trail, you see the shadowy husk of the ruin in the moonlight ahead. Unfortunately, the battle cries of your pursuers are closer than ever, and when you look back over your shoulder, you see glowing eyes. भाई साहब, so situation ये हो चुकी है कि goblins हमारे पीछे आ चुके हैं. We have reached the castle, yet the goblins are right behind us. Oh भाई, that's cool. I mean, not cool if to be honest, but ठीक है. The two of you turn into a burst of speed, and soon the outer wall of the castle looms before you. It is about 10 feet high and crumbling. You realize with horror that there are no holes on this side that are large enough to fit through. Meanwhile, Reginald, a faster runner than yourself, has disappeared around the northern corner of the wall. So, okay, Reginald left me, bhai ganda aadmi. A short spear whistles past your head. You look back and see at least 4 of the little beasts. ओके, तो गाइस सिचुएशन अगर सम अप करनी है मुझे, तो करंटली ये सिचुएशन है कि गॉब्लिन्स हमारे पीछे हैं. मेरे सामने एक दीवार है कैसल की जिसके अंदर मैं जा सकता हूँ, बट अनलकीली उस दीवार के अंदर कोई होल नहीं है, जिसका मतलब ये है कि मैं अंदर नहीं जा सकता कैसल के. मेरे सामने बस एक दीवार है लंबी सी जिसे शायद मैं चढ़ भी नहीं सकता हूँ, और मेरे पीछे 4 गॉब्लिन्स आ चुके हैं. तो मेरी लग चुकी है वाट, अब देखते हैं क्या होता है। तो और रेजिनेल्ड जो है वो एक अलग अपने रास्ते में भाग चुका है। तो नाउ लेट्स सी व्हाट वी कैन डू। Either I can follow Reginald, jump the wall, okay, I can use a jump spell and turn and blast them. देखो, what should I do? Like, if I turn and blast them, still there's a big horde of them coming to me. And I guess jump the wall would be the best right now. It will cost me least amount of mana. So that's what we're gonna do. 1 mana decrease, it's okay. I didn't lose any life and all good, yep. You stay on your course towards the wall, and with an arcane word, you leap into the air. Up, up, and go. Up, up you go. Like a giant grasshopper over the top. You've made it, but now you're falling down. Down into the castle courtyard. Oh shit. You hit the ground hard, but you roll with it. Fortunately, the neglected coated grass is nearly as tall as you are and acts as a cushion. Thank God. वरना भाई मेरे को लगता है कि गलत डिसीजन हो गया मेरा, भी गिर जाता मैं, मर जाता, गलत हो जाता। कोई बात नहीं। There's a ladder nearby that you climb to get up to the battlements. Battlements I'm assuming होता है मतलब एक हायर ग्राउंड कैसल का ही, मतलब कोर्टयार्ड के बाद बैटलमेंट्स आएगा ऐसा। लाइक कि अगर लाइक इमेजिन करना है तो पहले वॉल, देन कोर्टयार्ड, देन बैटलमेंट. In a few seconds, there are several goblins at the base of the wall, chattering angrily. The largest of them my mistake. The largest of them beings climb up the rotten rock, and another starts climbing after the leader. You decide this is a good place to take a stand. Okay, so we're about to fight. Let's go. There is a lot to lose. There is a lot of loose rock at the top of the wall. You're not particularly strong, thanks to your inactive life as a wizard. Like, wizards don't really need to be strong, no. Wizards have the liberty to be weak and yet be strong. Like, they are not strong physically, yet they're really strong when it comes to magical abilities. So it's fine if you're a weak wizard. Like, physically weak, it's fine. You can probably blast the guy off anyways, so you're good. So as your inactive life as a wizard, however, you expect you could push a few large rocks down upon the climbers. That's an option. On the other hand, they are all out in the open, and your combat spells would certainly be effective now. Oh, look at the image. Is that a goblin? Very bald, So options are push rocks down on the lead climber. Just fry the lead climber, fry them all. Okay, listen guys, hear me out here. I just wanna burn them all for the simple reason bhi. Like, if I kill the lead guy na, still they'll keep on climbing, okay? Even if I push rocks, they will keep on climbing. If I just fry the lead climber, if I burn the guy at the top, they'll still climb na. So best option is to fry them all. Let's go. Boom. Okay, crushing move. You dominated. Let's go. Nice. Mana decreases by 4, but morale increases by 2. You lean down and call forth the magical power within you. From your outstretched finger erupts a jet of flame that you play first over the climbers and then over the others standing below. They barely have time to scream before they are no more than 4 smoldering corpses on the ground below. Just like that, burned them all. A fine mess you made of them. Reginald's voice startles you. He now stands behind you, grinding down on the carnage. He must have found another way in. I loathe goblins, you say. As do all good men. You have struck terror in their advance party, but they will call for reinforcements. We have the wall. Can we hold it? Reginald asks. We could go in. You point to the castle key beyond the courtyard. The castle is 3 stories tall, and at least it has been before. The top layer partially collapsed. The second story is barely any better. The fortress is as lifeless as still as a painting, and still as a painting. Nevertheless, you wonder if anyone is looking back at you from the dark windows and arrows, arrow slits of the ruins. What do you suggest? Prepare a wall defense or enter the castle now? So here we have another option. See, we could really prepare a wall defense, right? But we also don't know what's inside the castle. Like, it has been abandoned by humans. That does not mean it has been abandoned by like other beasts and other creatures. There still can be some monsters inside the castle. I don't want to take that risk. So like while I'm fortifying the wall, someone backstabs me with a bow or a spear. I don't want that. So, but on the other hand, preparing a wall defense will kind of help us from goblins. Like, we don't know if there is a threat in the castle, but we still do know that there is a threat outside the castle. So should we like worry about the threat inside, or should we prepare for the threat outside? That's the big question. So I'll say okay, prepare the wall defense. Let's see what happens now. So gods know what's in the castle. Let us fight only one enemy at a time, you say. Soon the forest around you is dotted with glowing sets of eyes. It is difficult to count them as they appear and disappear behind the trees, but you guess 20 or more. So 20 goblins trying to attack us in the castle. I'll kill them all, don't worry. Surely they will attack from all sides at once, says Reginald. And they can see at night like we can in the day. Oh, really? That's a problem. Like, if they can really see that good at night, we are doomed. You consider a long dry grass in the courtyard below. With some lamp oil, you could start a fine bushfire down there. The light of it could perhaps even odds on these nocturnal creatures. You could even cast a spell upon the fire to create a blinding flash. But you're not sure you want to leave the wall to carry out such an unconventional plan. You may attack while you're away, leaving only Reginald to defend the walls. You wonder how long the goblins will take to master their forces? Your question is immediately answered as you hear a battle cry. High-pitched, furious, and seemingly on the edge of the panic. It erupts from the forest as a tide of little green evil eyes surge forward. What do you do? So, I just feel like personally the best option right now would be to set the courtyard on fire. Exactly right. Because that'll kill most of them, and if it does not kill most of them, at least it will slow their advances towards us, right? So that's a really good option, I'm assuming. So, set the courtyard. A clever move. आए है, मैंने कहा तो भाई दिमाग है तुम्हारे भाई में, भाई मेरे में दिमाग बहुत है भाई. You are a tricky one. Thank you. Mana decreases by 2. Morale increases by 4. And I right now have 5 mana. तो अगर ऐसा कोई spell है जो कि 5 mana से ज़्यादा use करता है, तो I will not have anything to use, It's okay. Without a moment to lose, you jump down into the courtyard, empty a flask of oil into the dry grass, and light it. The fire spreads rapidly. You ascend a ladder against the wall to rejoin Reginald. God help us. They come from all sides, you shout. Reginald, एक मिनट, मैंने गलत आवाज़ दी लगता है, कोई बात नहीं. Reginald does not answer as he works his bow. Thumb, thumb goes the string. Soon, several of the goblins have scaled the far wall. 2 have dropped down into the courtyard, while another charges upon the rickety basement, walkway towards you. Others follow, and then still more from the east and west walls. You can see them clearly, thanks to the courtyard bushfire. You dare not wait any longer. Reginald, close your eyes, you shout, and then let loose the spell. Crack! You see bright pink behind your shut eyelids. The fire has become a brilliant flash. A brief pulse brighter than full daylight. You wait a second. It will take that long for the flares to die down. Now, The little monsters are shielding their glowing eyes and screaming. One of them stumbles headlong off the basement. Kill them all and be quick about it. They will not be blind for long, you shout as you reach out to the folds of your robe and pull out a dagger. Reginald slings his bow and unleashes his long sword. The goblins still standing are now waving their short swords and spears blindly in front of them. Reginald effortlessly bats these weapons aside with his long sword. With a single mighty cleave per creature, he cuts the goblins down, one after the other. For you, using a blade to dispatch foes is demanding and dangerous. Blind or not, those vicious little monsters will slash and bite for their lives. Nevertheless, a long knife requires no mana. So, you quickly get to work. You jump down the courtyard, where you have more room to maneuver. You run behind each goblin, thrust in your dagger, and immediately spring backwards before your victim has a chance to swing at you. You smile at yourself. You're ready to roll. You're really on a roll. Gods, I hate goblins, you think. Just as you consider singing a song to better mock your blinded query, more of the little beasts come. A lot more. They scuttle all over the walls like cockroaches. To the castle, you shout. Once across the courtyard, you open the large wooden double doors, which strike on rusty hinges. अब इसका कोई मतलब जब भी हम जैसे हम गेट खोलते हैं कि that is the sound these doors make. Shriek is like that irritating sound which you hear with rusty doors. Excuse me. So inside, Reginald slams and bars the doors. The entrance chamber is large with a high vaulted ceiling. The stone walls are cracked and flanking. The ground is strewed with loose rubble. The air is stale. Aside from the double doors behind you, there are closed wooden doors on the north, east, and west walls. Near the north door, there is a stairway going up, but it is blocked by rubble. It is not long before the front door begins to rattle violently. Through a nearby arrow slit, you can see glowing eyes and the glint of axes chopping away the door. You're not sure how long the barred portal will hold them. Reginald wants to hide deeper into the castle. On the other hand, this place smells of death. It might be prudent to take a few seconds to investigate the room and doors. So what should we do? I understand that death is right at our door, but I still don't want to just blindly rush into the castle because I don't know what kind of beasts or what kind of monsters are there in the castle. So I'm going to search the room. You motion to Reginald to check the east door. You inspect the ground and see there has been some traffic through here. Some of the tracks on the dusty floor appear to be from human-sized shoes or boots, while others appear to be from bare feet, far too large to be from men. None of the tracks appear to belong to goblins. Listening, you can't hear anything over the goblins thumping and screaming outside. You direct the light of your lantern at the northern door and are about to turn towards east door when something catches your eye. Oh, this is getting interesting. Was that an eye? You wonder. You think you caught a glimpse of a glistering eyeball through the rattling hole in the northern door. Casually, as though just taking another look around you, you sweep your lantern light over the door again, pushing for just an instant at the spot. Yes, that was an eye. You are being watched, and although your glimpse of it was fleeting, you could tell the eye did not belong to a human. The white of the orb is pink with blood, while the retina is pitch black and large. You would like to get a better look at the creature. There is a minor spell you normally use to magically open doors from a distance. You find it tedious opening doors yourself. I can understand that. as long as the door is unlocked. You could use this lazy wizard spell to open the eye door without being too close. On the other hand, that might frighten or anger whomever that eye belongs to. Perhaps you should just talk to it. Maybe you can join forces against the goblins. Alternatively, you might be able to hurl a bolt of fire through the eye hole. Not as not an easy shot, but you have the element of surprise. Finally, there's the running option, a choice that has been keeping wizards alive for thousands of years. So now this is a good choice. Now, like, what should be done here? Because see, I can open the door, but I don't know what's inside. I can shoot through the eye hole, which is a very viable option in my opinion, because I don't know what creatures in there. So, and of course, it's not a human eye. So if it's not a human, it's definitely a monster. And if it's definitely a monster, it's definitely not going to like me. And I really don't want to die. So the best option in my opinion would be to shoot the eye hole. And talking to the creature is really not an option in my book. And running, we've been running a lot. And even if we run, this creature might still find us. So I'm gonna go with shoot through the eye hole, because of course it's gonna drain my mana a lot, but that's what we're gonna do. Mana decreases by 2, morale by 1, and life by 2. Okay, so I've been hurt. Amazingly, you make the shot. Unfortunately, the possessor of the eye must have seen you right at it as you wound up for the spell. The eye disappears just before your bolt of fire spatters around through the hole. Crack! The door explodes open. The light of your lantern streams into the doorway to reveal a huge monster. A blackened spot on the shoulder is evident of where your firebolt struck. He holds a massive spike club in one hand and a melon-sized rock on the other. He steps into the room. Naval's tongue, it is an ogre, Reginald shouts. The ogre slams his club against Reginald's shield, sending him carrying into another wall. Just then, the front door of the castle bursts open, like a tidal wave crashing into the beach. A heap of goblins fall into the room, the creatures one on top of another. A chorus of glee erupts from the fanged mouths. Arrows and spears fly over and between the goblins in front. Unfortunately, you are stuck by the spear. Okay, so goblin का spear मेरे को hit किया, जिसकी वजह से मेरी health कम हुई, जो मेरी 2 life कम हुई है. That is because of the goblin that attacked me. Luckily, it's only a flesh wound. Meanwhile, the ogre roars in rage, throwing his rock at the first goblin and striking it in the chest with such a nasty crunching sound that you know the goblin will never get up. So the ogre killed the goblin. Reginald and you nearly collide in your haste through the eastern portal. Once through, you slam the door closed. From the entrance chamber, you just left some goblins yip and of triumph, which then turn into screams of terror that are immediately drowned out by an earth-shaking snarl. Next is the sharp slapping of flesh against flesh and the wet sound of bodies ripping apart. By that ogre is making a mess out of those goblins, yaar. You run from one room to the next. The ogre is not much of a housekeeper. The castle is full of giant cobwebs and broken furniture. Finally, you enter a large room, a dining room, as evidenced by a long wooden table and 2 fireplaces. You motion to Reginald to stop, and you both listen. Faintly, you can hear the far-off sounds of battle from behind you. Can't leave that way, you think. Just then you hear something else, labored breathing. And is it crying? Okay, so I hear someone crying. So I'm out of here or investigate? I'm going to investigate the sound. I'm hero. For glory and the loot. Of course, mainly for the loot. I am a loot goblin. So mainly for the loot, I'll investigate the sound. Morale increases by 1. So you think to yourself as you take the lead for glory and the loot. A beautiful girl, huh? You quickly realize that the sound seems to be coming from this very room. You creep over to the other end of the dining hall and see a young woman sitting on the floor, chained to the wall, her head down. She looks up at you with an expression of fear that quickly turns to surprise. Who are you? She asks. You tell her your name and that you are here to smite evil while making your fortunes. This brings a smile to her face, a pretty smile. You suspect, although it's hard to tell under all the dirt smudged on her face, she gives her name as Siba and says there is a key to her chains on the table. Sure enough, beside a cracked and dusty china is a small brass key. As you set about unlocking her, she tells you that she is a merchant's daughter who was traveling with her father's trade caravan when it was attacked by a mighty ogre with a small band of priests of an evil god wearing dark cloaks. Those of her party not killed in the initial attack were taken prisoners and chained up in this room. One by one, they were taken away by the priests and never to return. They took my father, Siba sniffs. No doubt he is insane. He is slain. Sorry, no doubt he is slain. But I must try to find him. Will you help me? You ask her if she has any idea where her father or the others might be, but she knows little of the rest of the castle. Reginald takes you aside and says, ought we take her to safety and then look for her father on her own? She will be a danger traveling with us. She will be in danger traveling with us. Forgive me for my wrong English. You agree that having some half-starved, unarmed merchant's daughter tripping along behind you will only get her killed. But where is safety? Last time you checked, the courtyard was crawling with goblins, and according to her, the castle residents are not very good hosts. What do? Escort her out, hide her and move on. Send her on her own way, chain her back up for now. So this is interesting. If I if I escort her out, I might get another companion for my adventures, and that does sound good. But she still would be a liability, and to hide her and move on, it might not be a really good move, because if someone finds her, she's probably dead. Sending on her own way, it's why would they give us this option though? Or should I chain her back up? How about we chain her back up for now? Joker. You try to see the lighter side of things, or wherever you're serious. Or what do you see? No, I was serious. We could have just chained her back. Like, that's not a problem. So you can stay. Morale increases by 1. Old friend, you jest. Reginald laughs after you whisper your suggestion to his ear. I love your impish sense of humor, but we haven't time for foolishness in this place. Come now, what shall we do? So, what shall we do? Should we really help her out? What? Send her on. How about we send her on her own way? It'll be like a little journey, little adventure of herself. She can explore and even die in the end, so she can go on her own, right? Like, do we really need to take liability of someone else's life? क्या करूँ, कौन सा ऑप्शन चूज करूँ यार मैं? कमेंट गाइस, हेल्प मी. कोई चैट में कमेंट में कोई बता दो कौन सा ऑप्शन चूज करना है. What should I do? Okay, I'll just say कि maybe we should escort her out, because I guess that's a much gentleman-like approach to things. So that's what we're gonna do. Manners matters. Exactly. Your mother taught you well. Yes, she did. So I escort. That was a good choice. Nice. Morale increases by 2. Siba seems like a nice enough young woman, but as a merchant's daughter, she is not very good addition to the adventuring party. That's true. जो कि मैं कह भी रहा था. And so you're eager to escort her out of the castle as quickly as possible. Between Reginald's clinging chainmail armor and Siba's ins- incessant sniffing, the muttering about her father, the three of you are not the stealthy party you wish to be. देखा जाए तो गाइस मैं अकेला सा व्यक्ति हूँ इन में से जो कि ना मतलब एक मिनट गाइस प्लीज होल्ड करेंगे आज ही भैया गाइस गिव मी अ मिनट प्लीज यप ऑल गुड तो मैं कह रहा था कि ना हम तीनों में ना मैं रेजिनल्ड और सिबा हम तीनों आई गेस दैट्स हाउ द नेम इज प्रोनाउंस CIBAH सिबा ही होना चाहिए तो हम तीनों में से मैं अकेला ऐसा व्यक्ति हूँ जो कि चुपचाप चल सकता है क्योंकि रेजिनल्ड ने आर्मर पहना हुआ है जो कि बहुत शो करने वाला है ठीक है देन इज़ लाइक यू नो क्या कहते हैं सिबा शी इज़ लाइक ऑलवेज मटरिंग आउट ऑफ फादर तो वो भी बहुत लाइक बातें गप्पे पेल रही है वो भी बहुत तो वो भी बहुत शो कर रही है अकेला मैं हूँ जो इंटेलिजेंट है और जो कि शांत है ना तो चलो आफ्टर some searching you find a hole in the wall at the castle large enough for a human to fit through. Reginald gives you a boost to the hole and you look out. Neville's tongue! You curse in your head. Glowing eyes dot the courtyard outside. You get down and tell the others the bad news. तो the goblins are not all dead और वो बाहर ही वेट कर रहे हैं हमारा that is bad and life decreases by 2 okay but मैंने तो कोई ऑप्शन ही नहीं चूज़ किया मैंने तो कंटिन्यू करा ना इट वाज नॉट इन माय हैंड टू डू एनीथिंग बस अपने आप लाइफ कम हो गई मेरी इट्स ओके as you are describing what you saw there's a sudden jolt of numbing cold on your back you cry out in pain and turn to see a cloaked man barely visible in the light cast by the shuttered lantern in his hand. He is pointing at you with his other hand. Perhaps this is one of the evil priests Siba spoke of. As you slump back against the wall, Siba cowers in the corner. Reginald unsheathes his sword and charges. The cloaked man runs. By the time you recover from the pain and stand up, Reginald is walking briskly back into the chamber. That sneaky devil indulged me. Eluded me, he says, and in curses. I would bet my last copper he is off gathering allies to come back for us. We must move on, you say. As you hasten away from that wing of the ruin, the three of you agree Siba should hide for now. There are a ton of hiding places in this ruin. You find a nice pile of rubble for her to hide behind several rooms away. Still and quiet, we will return. Well, if we do not return by morning, escape as best you can. You instruct her. Of course, we don't want her to die. तो we're gonna instruct her कि देख हम सुबह तक आते हैं तो अच्छी बात है वरना भाग जाएगी वो. Clever, Reginald says as you leave her. If her abductors find her missing, they will not expect her to remain in the castle. With luck, they will leave the castle altogether to search, and we can explore unhindered, you say with a smile. The castle is quite and dark. You walk into a wide hallway that branches in two directions. One direction is covered in all thick layers of dust, while the other is covered in footprints. You decide that it would be wise to get a lay of the land before looking for any trouble. Despite the faint smell of rotting flesh from the dusty hall, you decide that it would be wise to go this way first. Less monsters, more treasure. Or at least you hope. So do I hope, you know. You have kept your lantern hooded, allowing slivers of light out. मतलब जो लैंटर्न बेसिकली हमारा है ना मैंने उसके ऊपर कपड़ा ढका हुआ है एंड बहुत ही कम लाइट उस लैंटर्न से बाहर आ पा रही है. दैट्स व्हाट इट एक्चुअली मीन्स. कहाँ गया ये रहा. आफ्टर ऑल यू वांट टू रिमेन स्टेल्दी. द वे इज डिम. हाउएवर, you find yourself tripping over rubble and the odd piece of furniture. Ahead, there is the stench of rot, making you wonder if there might be something terrible hidden in the shadows. Too bad you can't see in the dark like a goblin. What do? Keep the lantern or keep lantern hooded or unhood the lantern. तो स्टोरी ये है गाइस, अगर तुम्हें समझाऊँ हिंदी में मैं हमारे सामने दो रास्ते थे, ठीक है, एक लेफ्ट एक राइट, मतलब एक रास्ता जिसपे खूब सारी मिट्टी जमी हुई थी, एक रास्ता जिसपे फुट प्रिंट्स थे। अब हमने सोचा कि फुट प्रिंट वाले अगर रास्ते में जाएंगे तो बहुत रिस्क है, तो हम गए मिट्टी वाले रास्ते में, जहाँ पे हमें मोस्ट प्रोबेबली लूट ज़्यादा मिलेगी, है ना। वी आर होपिंग कि हमें उस रास्ते पे लूट मिले। तो अभी जब हम उस रास्ते पे जाते हैं तो हम एकदम से बहुत बुरी सड़ने की स्मेल आती है, और हम जो हमारा लैंटर्न या फिर क्या कहते हैं उसको, लालटेन जो हमारी है हमने ढकी हुई है। तो अब हमारे पास ये ऑप्शन है, या तो हम उसको ढका ही रहने दें और ये हम आगे बढ़ते रहें, या हम उसको उघाड़ सकते हैं लालटेन को। आई पर्सनली थिंक कि अगर सामने से गंदी स्मेल आ रही है ना, तो घंटा फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता कि सामने क्या है। अनहुड द लैंटर्न को उघाड़ो ताकि तुम देख पाओ सामने क्या चीज़ है। दैट्स व्हाट वी डू। मोरल इंक्रीजेस। Since you appear to be entering a vacant part of the castle, you expect your light will not attract enemy attention. And so, you unhood your lantern and see your way clearly. As you move along, the cobweb thicken and thicken. Spider! Reginald yelps. He points his sword up at the ceiling. There is an enormous spider suspended by a mass of webs. There are dark shadows deep within the webs that might be cocoons. Okay, so we've entered into the spider's lair. Gods, it is massive, hisses Reginald. Perhaps we should turn back. This part of the castle is obviously forsaken by the residents and therefore is safe place for us, you say. Safe? Whispers Reginald. Do you not see that thing? Do you see that thing? You have surprises of your aim. You have surprise and your aim is true, my friend, you say, putting your hand on Reginald's shoulder. Reginald is silent for a moment and then says, one shot is all I will have. Be ready with your death-dealing spells. You remove your hand from Reginald's shoulder and prepare yourself to launch a firebolt. तो जो आई गेस प्लान चल रहा है, हम इस क्या कहते हैं इसको, मकड़ी को मारने वाले हैं। रेजिनल्ड एक एरो मारेगा इस पे और फिर मैं इसको पेल दूंगा अपने स्पेल से। With trembling fingers, Reginald sheaths his sword and unslings his bow. He takes in a big breath as he fits an arrow, draws back the string and fires. The spider flails its long legs for a moment and then drops on the web into the floor with a thud. Reginald slings his bow and draws his sword as he charges. He then commences hacking the spiders into pieces. Once you're certain the monster spider is truly dead, the two of you move on, taking extra care to watch the ceiling. We killed the spider. अभी तुम्हें कुछ नहीं कहा था कि I should prepare my spell. But I didn't really need to, use any spell. Eventually, the two of you make your way into a spiral staircase going up. The upper regions of foul places like this are safer than the lower levels, says Reginald. Why Neville's tongue would that be, you ask? Reginald shrugs. Do you ask me what is in the mind of fiends and evil-hatred beasts? Perhaps they prefer the darkness and stagnant air below ground. You look up the stairway and well, perhaps we can get a view of the courtyard and the goblins from up there. Reginald leads the way up the stairs, which leads into a small tower. Moonlight filters in through two windows. This room is finely furnished and otherwise much more nicely kept than the rest of the castle you've visited so far. There is a small bed, still made, on one end, an ornate table and a bookshelf. On the table is an open fairy tale book and a gold embossed hand mirror. Seeing the loot, you forget about the windows and the potential view of the courtyard. You pick up the mirror and inspect it. Strange, says Reginald. There's no dust up here, and do you feel a draft? We are in a ruin, you say. Of course, there's a draft. The glass of the windows are still intact, mutters Reginald. Gazing at your reflection in the mirror, you decide you look pretty. You look pretty good. All things considered, you brush cobwebs from your wavy brown hair. You smile. You're happy to see that your teeth are looking particularly good. Of course, you deserve nice teeth, since unlike most people, you take care of them. Every morning, you wipe your teeth with a cloth dipped in a cleaning concoction containing of vinegar, consisting of vinegar, salt, a little sand, and a small measure of your own urine. Dude, no way. Like, don't tell me कि जो हमारा कैरेक्टर है वो अपने ही मुंह से ब्रश करता है. That's unhygienic. Like, अगर तुम्हें दांत साफ करने तो that's not what you would do, right? मतलब that's weird. बट ठीक है, चलो बंदे को ठीक लगा तो कर ले भाई, उसकी मर्जी. उसके दांत उसका भिगो, यार करो. You're about to pull yourself away from the mirror and put it in your backpack when you glimpse a translucent skull with thin, wispy hair just behind you in the reflection. Oh shit. You spin around and see not a skull, but a young girl floating a few feet in the air, her pale face fixed on you. Reginald sees her too, and as evident by him running down the stairs. भाई रेजिनेंड धोखेबाज आदमी भाई. जैसी ये लेडी ये भूतनी दिखी, रेजिनेंड भाग गया नीचे भाई. How dare you touch what is mine? Sorry, how dare you touch what is mine? The ghostly girl shouts. You back up and reflexively put the mirror back on the table. You have heard tales of powerful ghosts that can suck the life right out of you, and wonder if this girl is one of those. What do you do? यार देखो, तो सिचुएशन ऐसी है कि दिस इज़ अ गोस्ट गर्ल जिसका शीशा था. आई डिडंट नो कि वो इसका शीशा है. मैं उसको अपने पास रखने वाला था. आई थॉट कि गोल्ड का शीशा है, मैं रख लेता हूँ, बट वो एक्चुअल में इसका था. एंड नाउ शी इज़ एंग्री एट मी. एंड टू बी ऑनेस्ट, I feel like the best thing to do would be to apologize. Like, you should always be a gentleman, right? To apologize to the lady. Apologize. I apologize, my lady. You say. It is only that this is such a fine mirror. I wished to admire it. She glares at you for a moment, and then the hard expressions on her translucent face soften. I am Duchess Inverness. My father, the Duke, gave me that as a gift. You have heard stories of Duke Inverness and the mysterious circumstances around the demise of his house. Despite your fear, you feel a pang of sadness for his daughter, who now shimmers before you, trapped in this world. And these books, why they look like excellent stories in here? You stammer. Read that one to me, the girl commands. Of course, my lady, you answer. Lucky for you, as a wizard you know how to read. You pick up the book of fairy tale from the desk and begin on the first page. She stops you and demands you read her the story about the unicorn. With trembling hands you page through the book. Eventually, you find the story and begin reading. The ghost floats up behind you as though to peer down at the pictures. You feel a slight chill on your shoulder. Sometime later, you look up from her book and see Reginald peeking around the corner of the stairway at you. You shake your head slightly at him and then return your attention to the book. In the story, the unicorn taps her hoof against the wall in a castle, and a secret passage opens up. As you read this, the little ghost girl smiles and says, "There is a secret passage in this castle as well. It is a foul place, a place where people are taken never to return." "Where is this secret passage of you speak of?" you ask. "My father's library. There is a statue. Push the arm of the statue down," she explains. You are intrigued by this and wish to ask her more, but she points at her book impatiently. And so you get back to it. Upon finishing the story, the girl demands you read her another. You wonder how long she might keep this up. Time means nothing to her after all. You would like to get back to Reginald, and what about Sebast's father? Rescuing a merchant means a fine reward. And there's Sibeth herself, of course. You would like to find her before something else does. So what should I do? Attempt to excuse yourself. Gold increases by 50, that's cool. Beautiful and gracious Duchess, might I ask your full name? You ask. Gabriella. Duchess Gabriella of Inverness, she answers. "Milady," you bow. "I beg your pardon. There is a young woman in the castle below who requires my assistance. There are evil men. I suspect they threaten her life." "A maiden in distress? Why do you dolly here then? Begone!" You need no further encouragement. You step lightly towards the door. "Wait!" Her voice chills you, but you unwillingly turn back. "Take this," she says, and the gold-trimmed mirror floats off the table over to you. "I cannot see myself in it anymore," she says softly. "Generosity befitting a duchess. I thank you most humbly." You bow low and then leave. You find Reginald around the corner of the stairs, his sword at the ready. He begins asking you questions, but you put up your hand. "Another time," you say. And we have reached a checkpoint. So, I'm gonna later. So I guess, guys, this is it for today, huh? Like, let's end this here. I hope you had a great time. I hope you enjoyed जितना भी आप लोगों ने देखा. And I hope you enjoyed this story as much as I did. So we'll be continuing the story tomorrow, and let's see what are the other things hidden in the castle and what are the secrets of the castle. So अभी के लिए, I'd like to take your leave. Thank you for watching, and I hope you had a wonderful time. Bye bye.